Cordial's WSST, because local matters.
Yes, the J.W. Williams Funeral Directors have been proudly serving the people of this community since 1918. Service is our motto. The poor, the rich, the middle class, and all are given the best of care and attention at all times. You have the privilege to select what you want. In your time of need, contact the capable, the competent, and the dependable staff of the J.W. Williams Funeral Home, who is genuinely concerned with your care. At J.W. Williams Funeral Home, you are aptly served by the proprietor, president, Deacon Arthur L. Parker, who continues the traditions and values set forth by the past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams. Your announcers for the J.W. Williams Funeral Home Sunday morning program are Deacon Arthur L. Parker, Reverend Isaac H. Owens, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker, Minister Frankie Harmon, Miss Sandra Johnson, and Deacon Earl Clark, Jr.
Thank you, and good morning, friends. We come to you this morning to bring announcements, dedications, and songs. We certainly hope that your day may be brighter after listening to our program. The family of Deacon Jimmy Lee Johnson, Jr. of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Deacon Henderson Bryant, Jr. of Vienna, Georgia. The family of Mr. Sammy Lee Emery of Rochelle, Georgia. Would like to thank their many friends for the food, the flowers, the condolences, and all other expressions of sympathy and kindness shown to them during their hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. Deacon Jimmy Lee Johnson, Jr., age 65, of 1318 East 8th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, died Wednesday, March 3rd, at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Deacon Jimmy Lee Johnson, Jr., age 65, was held Sunday, March 7th, at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home Portico in Cordele, Georgia. His pastor, the Reverend Jeff Wilson, pastor of the Odom Grove Baptist Church, officiated. The burial followed at the Westview Cemetery in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted wife, Mrs. Brenda B. Johnson of Cordele, Georgia, his loving and caring children, Miss Shalandra Johnson, Miss Jakesha Johnson, Miss China Johnson, and Mr. Jimmy Johnson, all of Cordele, Georgia. His beloved stepchildren, Miss Makisha Dawson, Miss Tajani Battle, and Miss Lakeisha Cross, all of Cordele, Georgia. Miss Kimberly Battle of Atlanta, Georgia, and Mr. Larry Wright of St. Petersburg, Florida. 4 beloved grandchildren, Ivanka, DeAndre, Jacqueline, and Kayla. His beloved sister, Miss Gloria Ford, and her husband, Mr. Charlie Ford of Cordele, Georgia. His beloved brothers, Mr. Robert Lee Johnson, Mr. Tony Johnson, both of Cordele, Georgia. His adopted brothers, Mr. Eugene Pittman of Albany, Georgia, and Mr. Freddie Pittman of Cordele, Georgia. One beloved uncle, Deacon George Lawrence, and his wife, Deaconess Josephine Lawrence of Cordele, Georgia. His beloved in-law, Miss Lily Thomas, Miss Mary Brown, Miss Amelia Orr, Miss Juanita Dawson, Miss Cynthia Dawson, Mr. Charles Dawson, Mr. Willie C. Dawson, Mr. Curtis Dawson, Mr. Ricky Dawson, and Mr. Darren Dawson. A host of cousins to include Miss Pamela Jones, Miss Sherelle Lawrence, Miss Audrey Butler and her husband, Mr. Edward Butler, and Mr. George Lawrence Jr. A host of nieces and nephews, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends to include Deacon Charlie Westbrook, the Gospel Sunlighters, Mr. Toria Ford, Mr. Martavius Ford, and Miss Raven Hamilton, all of Cordele, Georgia, Miss Sharita Adams of Hinesville, Georgia, and Miss LaShonda Burns of Atlanta, Georgia. Survived Deacon Jimmy Lee Johnson Jr., age 65, of 1318 East 8th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia. Deacon Henderson Bryant Jr., age 92, of 2539 Bryant Road, Vienna, Georgia, died Saturday, March 6th at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Deacon Henderson Bryant Jr. was held Saturday, March 13th, graveside at the Macedonia Baptist Church Cemetery, Drayton Community, Vienna, Georgia. His beloved cousin, the Reverend Isaac H. Owen, pastor of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church, officiated. Survivors include his loving and devoted children, Miss Gloria Griffin and her husband, Mr. Willie Griffin of Cordele, Georgia, Mr. Thomas Beal and his wife, Mrs. Peggy Beal of Mercyville, New Jersey, Mrs. Betty Hightower and her husband, Mr. Roger Hightower of Riverdale, Georgia, Mr. Carl Bryant and his wife, Mrs. Connie Bryant of Columbus, Georgia, Mr. Sammy Bryant of Detroit, Michigan, Miss Mary Bryant and Mr. Gary Bryant and his wife, Miss Tamika Bryant of Vienna, Georgia, Mr. Kenneth Bryant and his wife, Mrs. Tara Bryant of Newsport News, Virginia. 22 plus grandchildren to include a beloved granddaughter, Miss Latasha McWilliams. 18 plus great-grandchildren. His beloved brother, Mr. Hillman Bryant, and his wife, Mrs. Annie Jean Bryant of Orlando, Florida. His beloved sisters-in-law, Mrs. Gloria Jean Bryant of Grayston, Georgia, Mrs. Bobby Jean Bryant of Vienna, Georgia, Miss Millie Rucker of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Miss Atlee Killings of Vienna, Georgia, Mrs. Minnie Hawkins of Alliance, Ohio, and Miss Antoinette Veal of Brooklyn, New York. A host of nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survived. Deacon Henderson Bryant Jr., age 92, of 2539 Bryant Road, Vienna, Georgia. Mr. Sammy Lee Emery, age 68, of 26 Lou Lane, Rochelle, Georgia, died Sunday, March 7, 2021, at his residence in Rochelle, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Sammy Lee Emery, age 68, was held Saturday, March 13, graveside at the Piney Grove Baptist Church Cemetery in Rochelle, Georgia. The pastor, Reverend Travis Johnson, officiated. Survivors include his loving and devoted children, Mr. Sammy Emery Jr. of Rochelle, Georgia, Mr. Dravian Washington of Fort Pierce, Florida, Mr. Courtney Washington and his wife, Mrs. Laquita Washington of West Palm Beach, Florida, Miss Latoya Emery of Fitzgerald, Georgia, Miss Ashley Washington of West Palm Beach, Florida, Mr. Terrence Emery of Fitzgerald, Georgia, and Mrs. Nichelle Emery Brown and her husband, Mr. Co Brown, and Miss Yolanda Emery, both of Fort Pierce, Florida, Miss Katia Emery of Orlando, Florida, his beloved stepson, Mr. Aquia Bellum, and Mr. Hiram Bellman, both of Hollywood, Florida, 24 beloved grandchildren, 18 great-grandchildren, his loving and devoted sisters, Mrs. Dorothy Emery, Mrs. Barbara Adams, and her husband, Mr. Glenn Adams, and Mrs. Norma Emery, all of Rochelle, Georgia. His beloved brothers, Mr. Eugene Emery of Fort Pierce, Florida, Mr. Richard Emery Jr. and his wife, Mrs. Annie Emery, and Mr. Randy Emery, all of Rochelle, Georgia. A beloved aunt, Mrs. Annie L. Hyer of Delray, Florida. A god brother, Mr. Terry McCoy of Rochelle, Georgia. 8 beloved sisters-in-law, 9 brothers-in-law, a host of nieces and nephews, many cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Sammy Lee Emery, age 68, of 26 Lou Lane, Rochelle, Georgia. Again, the family of Deacon Jimmy Lee Johnson Jr. of Cordele, Georgia, the family of Deacon Henderson Bryant Jr. of Vienna, Georgia, the family of Mr. Sammy Lee Emery of Rochelle, Georgia, would like to thank their many friends for all of the many kindnesses shown to them during their hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. May God bless each of you is their prayer. The J.W. Williams Funeral Directors serving Cordele and Vienna were in charge of each of these arrangements during the past week. And now, it is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcements. Miss Mattie Pearl Griffin, age 71, of 178 East Rock Hill Drive, Americus, Georgia, died Monday, March 8th, at the Phoebe Sumter Medical Center in Americus, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted sister, Miss Lou B. Smith of Americus, Georgia, her loving and caring brothers, Mr. Willie Griffin and his wife, Mrs. Gloria Griffin of Cordele, Georgia, Mr. Jester Bailey and Mr. Esther Bailey, both of Miami, Florida. Her beloved aunts, Mrs. Ruby Campbell of Preston, Georgia, Mrs. Sally Williams of Atlanta, Georgia, Miss Eva Jackson of Columbus, Georgia, and Miss Martha Griffin and Miss Josie Griffin, both of New York. A host of nieces, nephews, cousins, and other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Miss Mattie Pearl Griffin, age 71, 178 East Rock Hill Drive, Americus, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Maddie Pearl Griffin, age 71, will be held today, Sunday, March 14, at 12 noon, graveside at the Staley Memorial Garden in Americus, Georgia. Evangelist Buford Snipes will officiate. Mother Bessie May Holton Wright, age 88, of 917 Cypress Drive, Americus, Georgia, died Thursday, March 11th at the Phoebe Sumter Medical Center in Americus, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted son, Mr. Roosevelt Wright III of Americus, Georgia, her loving and devoted grandchildren, Miss Kenyatta Smith and her husband, Mr. Torrey Smith, Miss Chantel Wright, and Mr. Roosevelt Wright IV, all of Americus, Georgia. Her great-grandchildren, Toria and Kingston. Her beloved sisters-in-law, Mrs. Ernestine Holton of Ellaville, Georgia, Miss Laura Wright of Cobb, Georgia, and Miss Susie Wright of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A beloved godsons, Mr. Joe Jones of Americus, Georgia. A host of other relatives and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mother Bessie May Holton Wright, age 88, of 917 Cypress Drive, Americus, Georgia. The funeral service for Mother Bessie May Holton Wright, age 88, will be held Friday, March 19th at 12 noon, graveside at the Sue Walker Cemetery in Cobb, Georgia. Her beloved nephew, the Reverend Mathis Kears Wright, will officiate. The public walk-up visitation will be Thursday, March 18, from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. Mr. Willie James Billingsley, Sr., age 85, of 268 Carey Street, Unadilla, Georgia, died Thursday, March 11th at the Houston Medical Center in Warner Robins, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted wife, Mrs. Lillian Billingsley of Unadilla, Georgia, his loving and devoted sons, Mr. Willie J. Billingsley, Jr., and his wife, Mrs. Cora Billingsley of Warner Robins, Georgia, Mr. Tracy Lamar Billingsley of Unadilla, Georgia, Mr. Marcus Terrell Billingsley of Warner Robins, Georgia, and Mr. Reginald Billingsley of Unadilla, Georgia. 12 beloved grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren, his loving sisters, Mrs. Betty Jean James, Mrs. Geneva West, and Mrs. Lou Jones, all of Unadilla, Georgia. Mrs. Edna Ruth Lawson and her husband, Mr. Charlie Lawson of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Mrs. Marietta Cohens and her husband, Mr. Lonnie Cohens of New Jersey. His beloved in-laws, Mrs. Jackie Whitehead and her husband, Mr. Edwin Whitehead, and Mrs. Rosa Kendrick, both of Hawkinsville, Georgia. Mrs. Bobby Gosher and her husband, Mr. Dale Gosher of Watertown, New York. Mrs. Corrine Anderson of Albany, Georgia. Mr. Jasper Bembry of Albany, Georgia, and Mrs. Della Samuel and her husband, Mr. Anthony Samuel of McClemens, Florida. A host of nieces, nephews, many cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Willie James Billingsley Sr., age 85, of 268 Carey Street, Unadilla, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Willie James Billingsley Sr., age 85, will be announced at a later date pending the completion of the arrangements. Mrs. Deborah Ann Green Kendrick, age 59, of 407 North 9th Street, Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, March 13, at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted children, Mr. Travis Quarterman, Miss Latoya Kendrick, and Mr. Charles Quarterman, all of Cordele, Georgia. 4 beloved grandchildren, her loving and devoted sisters, Mrs. Betty Hurd of Chicago, Illinois, Miss Shirley Zellner, and her husband, Mr. Zell Zellner, a beloved brother, Mr. Alex Green, all of Ashburn, Georgia. The Gaines and Kendrick family of Cordele, Georgia, a host of nieces, nephews, many cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mrs. Deborah Ann Green Kendrick, age 59, of 407 North 9th Street, Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mrs. Deborah Ann Green Kendrick, age 59, will be announced at a later date pending the completion of the arrangements. The J.W. Williams Funeral Directors serving Cordele and Diana are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Friends, that conclude our funeral notices for this morning. And as always, we do remind you concerning our pre-funeral arrangements planning available at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home, with packages available with a single pay, a 3-year pay, a 5-year pay, and a 10-year pay. So please stop by and talk with us concerning your pre-funeral arrangements needs available at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. And also whole life insurance is available at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home.
And now for our announcements. You're invited to worship at the New Poplar Spring Baptist Church. Sunday morning worship service begins at 9:45 a.m. Wednesday evening worship service begins at 6:45 p.m. You may join them via conference call by calling 253-993-3761. Again, that number is 253-993-3761. Pastor Johnny Dean and the members of New Poplar Spring Baptist Church invite you to come and worship with them. The Evangelistic Tabernacle Esther Mission Department sponsored its first quarterly drive-through food drive on Saturday, March 20th at 10 o'clock a.m. at the Baker Church lot located at 610 West Union Street in Vienna, Georgia. Drive up, unlock the trunk door. Food will be loaded for you. For more information, please contact Mrs. Annie Smith at 229-322-2493 or Sister Lorraine West at 229-425-1417. Again, those numbers are Mrs. Annie Smith at 229-322-2493 or Mrs. Lorraine West at 229-425-1417. Bishop and Mrs. Arthur West, pastor. You're invited to worship at the Greater Mars Tabernacle Baptist Church today. Their conference call schedule is as follows. Sunday morning worship service at 9 o'clock a.m. Tuesday midday prayers at 12 o'clock noon. Thursday prayer meeting and Bible study is held at 6 o'clock p.m. You may join them via conference call by calling 229-329-7611. Again, that number is 229-329-7611. Mother Lucille Shazier, Church Mother, Deacon Arthur L. Parker, Chairman of Deacons, Dr. K.M. Williams is the pastor. You're invited to worship with the Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church Pull-Up and Praise worship service that's held each Sunday morning beginning at 10 o'clock a.m. They are located at 1818 U.S. Highway 41 North in Cordele. Pull-Up and Praise with Pastor Gregory Williams and the members of the Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church each Sunday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. They extend a very cordial invitation for you to come and worship with them. The Mount Zion First African Baptist Church announces its conference call schedule. Sunday morning worship service is held at 10 o'clock a.m. Prayer meeting is held at 12 o'clock noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Bible study is held each Wednesday at 5 o'clock p.m. Conference call number for them is 515-604-9765. Again, that number is 515-604-9765. The access code is 288180. Deacon Joe Wedges is the chairman of deacons. Dr. Jan James III is the pastor. The Gethsemane Baptist Church announces its worship service for Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. via Zoom. You may join them via Zoom by calling. The public calling number is 1-312-626-6799. 1-312-626-6799. The meeting ID number is 81759-790075. The passcode is 50814. Reverend Cecil, they also invite you to worship with them in their Bible study that's held each Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m. You may call them via conference call by calling 229-234-9066. And you may contact any member of the Gethsemane Baptist Church for more information regarding their worship service. Deacon Johnny Wilson is the chairman of deacons. Reverend Cecil Straughter is the pastor. You have a cordial invitation to come and worship with the Mount Calvary Baptist Church. Church Without Walls is held each Sunday morning worship service at 10:30 a.m. Church Without Walls each Sunday morning at the Mount Calvary Baptist Church on the grounds of Mount Calvary, held each Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. Deacon Leon Spears is chairman of deacons. Mother Evelyn Lewis is church mother. Reverend Isaac H. Owens is the pastor. The Cordele Christ chapter of the NAACP will have its regular meeting this afternoon at 4 o'clock p.m. at Blackshear Place, located at 1001 Blackshear Road in Cordele. We encourage you to come and be a part. Anyone interested in joining, you're invited to come. All members are asked to please be present for the meeting this afternoon at 4 o'clock p.m. Dr. Ruby Jackson is the secretary. Reverend Isaac H. Owens is the branch president. The Crisp County School Nutrition Program announces its meal package pickup. Monday, March 15th will be the last day that meals may be picked up at the school, and they may be picked up on Monday, March 15th from 12:30 p.m. until 1:30 p.m. The Crisp County Nutrition Program has been offering weekly meal bags to the virtual students since the beginning of the school year. But please know that many of the ones who really need the food cannot come to the schools to pick up those meals. There are also children in the community who are not enrolled in Crisp County schools that could benefit from the free meals. The school nutrition program received a grant through No Kids Hungry that will help to pay for some of the expenses to expand meal services. There will be one last meal pickup on Monday, March 15th, beginning on Wednesday, March 17th, and that route is shown on our screen. On Wednesday, March 17th, there will be routes that will be taking meal bags with 5 breakfasts and 5 lunches out to different pickup sites. Anyone with children between the ages of 2 and 18 can get these meals. The route will be as follows. Beginning at 9 o'clock until 9:45 a.m., Zion Hill bus 676 Twin Pines Road, Cordele, Georgia, and Blackshear Place Business and Events Center, located at 1001 Blackshear Road, Cordele, Georgia, will be a pickup site. From 10 o'clock until 10:45 a.m., the Pena Church bus route is 3738 Old Pena Road, Cordele, Georgia. The Housing Authority, Sunset Homes, Morningside Homes, will located at 610 North 2nd Street, Cordele, Georgia. From 11 o'clock until 11:45 a.m., the Araby bus route, you may pick up your meals at the Bedgood Road, Highway 41 in Araby. Also, you may pick them up from the First Baptist Church Child Development Center at 205 East 13th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia. And from 12 until 12:45 at the old Chris County Middle School lunchroom parking lot, located at 1116 East 24th Avenue. Please remember these locations. You may contact the Chris County School Nutrition Program if you have other questions regarding this, but please remember that Monday, March 15th will be the last day that meals may be picked up at the schools between 12:30 and 1:30, and then on Wednesday, the bus routes will begin on Wednesday, March 17th for those who are at home and those who are interested in purchasing, or picking up a meal during that time. And as always, reminder, if you have announcements that you would like for us to share on our Sunday morning program, that you may fax them to us at 229-273-5111. You may email them to us at jwwilliamsfh@bellsouth.net, or you may drop them off at the funeral home before 12 o'clock noon on Saturday. Thank you so much, and that concludes our announcements.
And we do remind you that all senior citizens aged 65 and above may apply for homestead exemption at the Chris County Courthouse Tax Assessors by April 1st. On or before April 1st, please apply for your home exemption by April 1st. Now for dedication. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following: in loving memory of Mr. Jake Fletcher Jr., who departed this life March 4th, 2010. Dedication requested by his beloved mother, Mother Minnie Fletcher, and the entire family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mr. Allen Jackson Sr., who would have celebrated his birthday March 10th. Dedication requested by the Jackson family. Precious memory lingers still. In loving memory of Mr. John Lee Colson, who would have celebrated his birthday March 11th. Dedication requested by the Colson and Dennis families. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mother Magdalene Talbot Ward, who departed this life March 13th, 2015. Dedication requested by her beloved daughter, Mrs. Vivian W. Askew, and Mr. E.J. Askew, and the entire Talbot Ward and Askew family, and the church family of the Church of God in Christ. Precious memory lingers still. In loving memory of Mrs. Melba Bennett, who would have celebrated her birthday Saturday, March 13th. Dedication requested by the entire family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Gussie Mae Telfair Rogers, who would have celebrated her birthday March 14th. Dedication requested by her beloved children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and the entire Rogers and Telfair families. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mr. Earl Leary Sr., who would have celebrated his birthday March 15. Dedication comes from his beloved wife, Mrs. Willie Mae Leary, all of the children, Deacon Earl Leary Jr., Mrs. Faye Leary, Mr. Eddie, Mrs. Julia Leary, Miss Patricia Leary, and the entire family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Minister Virginia Rose Murray Hardiman, who would have celebrated her birthday March 15, dedication requested by the Cobb, Hardiman, and Adams families. Precious memory lingers still. In loving memory of Mrs. Margie Fagan, who would have celebrated her birthday March 16, dedication requested by her beloved son, Mr. Trey Fagan, her grandchildren Malik and Kendra Fagan, her beloved nephew Mr. Roderick Bridges, and her sisters Miss Gail and Miss Lucy, her beloved brother Deacon Jimmy Fagan, and the entire Fagan family. Precious memory lingers still. In loving memory, Mrs. Margie Fagan, gone but not forgotten. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following. Happy birthday to Mrs. Florine Manning, who will celebrate her birthday Tuesday, March 15. Dedication comes from her husband, Deacon Mr. John Manning, and the entire family. Happy birthday and many, many more. Happy birthday to Brother Freddie Walker, who will celebrate his birthday Tuesday, March 16. Dedication comes from his beloved wife, Mrs. Julia Walker, and the entire Walker family, and his pastor, Dr. K.M. Williams, and all of the members of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church, the pastor, Dr. K.M. Williams, Deacon Tommy Ford, and Mother Lucille Shazer, and the entire membership and the brotherhood says happy birthday to Brother Freddie Walker on Tuesday, March 16, to his beloved wife, Miss Julia Walker, and family. Happy birthday, Brother Walker, and many, many more. Happy birthday to little Infinite Montford, who will celebrate her birthday Tuesday, March 16, dedication requested by her beloved grandparents. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following: Deacon James Smith and family, Evangelist Dorothy Sams Williams of Albany, Georgia, prayer warrior, Mother Nell Ford and family, Mrs. Clara Redding and family, Mother Idabelle Patrick and family, Mr. Greg Peterson and family, Vienna, Georgia, Miss Kara Talbert and family, Vienna, Georgia, Miss Jakira Felton of Oglethorpe, Georgia, Mr. and Mrs. Danny Jackson and family, Mr. Philip Stembridge and family, Mr. and Mrs. Norman Field and family, Miss Donna Cobb and family, Miss Annette Stembridge and family, Mrs. Rita Cross and family, Deaconess Carrie Brooks and family, Mr. Ray Rollins and family, Mr. Lonnie Williams and family, Mother Jessie Ezell and family, Mrs. China Ezell and the staff of BJ's Diner, Sister Willie Mae Crapp and family, Mr. A.B. and Miss Valerie Levant and family, Miss Eddie Mae Levant and family, Mrs. Dorothy Rose Jones and family, Miss Juanita Montford and family, Mrs. Patricia Turner and family, Miss Carrie Bell Levant and family, Mrs. Betty Jean Montford and family, Stuart Wilman and Sister Cassandra Barrett and family, my neighbor, Mother Theron Talbert and family, the entire Jones and Talbot family, Miss Dorothy Talbot and family, Mother Easter Byram and family, Mr. Johnny and Mrs. Juanita Talbot and family, Miss Bernice Pittman and family, Miss Gail Chanel and family, Miss Jerry Harvey and family, Miss Rosalind Oliver and family, Miss Katrina Jones and family, the entire Armstrong family, the Montford family, the Palmer family, the Hoggebrook family, Miss Mary Kendrick and family, Mr. and Mrs. Ricky Hardeman and family, Mrs. Mary Frances Davis and family, Mr. Justin Colbert Jr. and family, Miss Shalonda Donaldson and family, Miss Nebby Cross and family, Mr. Tommy Glenn and family, Mr. Judge Glenn and family, Mother Willie McGill and family, Miss Burrow Patrick and family, Miss Mary Taylor and family, Mr. Zachary and Miss Levette and Miss Lavetta Fields and family, Miss Bashanda Holmes and family, Mother Martha Ruth Westbrook and family of Araby, Georgia. The Reverend Donnie and Mrs. Amanda Hall and family, the Reverend Jesse Watts and family, the Reverend Willie James Felton and the entire Felton family, Deacon Sammy and Mrs. Fanny Montfrey and family, Miss Betty Epps and family, the Somner family, Deacon Wallace and Evangelist Patty Relaford and family, Mrs. Frances Relaford and family, Mr. Andrew Jackson and family, Miss Patricia White and family, Mother Mary Picola Jackson and family, Missionary Ola Mike and family, Mr. Anthony and Evangelist Judy Oliver and family, the Redding family, the Palmer family, Miss Latasha Smith and family, Miss Rosa Epps and family, Miss Vera Carter and family, Miss Dorothy Paul and family, Miss Val Carter and family, Mr. F.D. Lawton and family, Miss Barbara Robertson family, Miss Tasha Trice and family, the Carter family, Miss Shonda Hutchins and family, Miss Selma Jackson and family, Miss Vivian Daniels and family, Mrs. Jackie Lattimore and family, Miss Lottie Tarbert and family, the Epps and Lawton family, Miss Sarah Jackson and family, Miss Patricia White and family, Miss Frances Relaford and family, Mr. Tommy and Miss Bernice Relaford and family, Miss Corrine Peterson Passmore and family, Miss Geraldine Perry and family, Miss Gwen Jackson and family, Missionary Irene and the Reverend L.C. Cantrell and family, Mrs. Clara Nell Carter and family, Mrs. Christine Graham and family, Deacon Vetty and Sister Willie Mae Crane and family of Pinehurst, Georgia, Deacon John David Law, Chairman of the Board of Deacons of the Evergreen Baptist Church of Pinehurst, Georgia, Miss Doris Wise and family, Dr. Beverly Bolden and family, Deacon Chester Mike Williams and family, Mr. Calvin and Mrs. Carolyn Morrell and family, Mr. Otis and Miss Mary Blanks and family, Elder Billy and Pastor Rosa Sanford and family, the Reverend and Mrs. Jeff Wilson and family, the Reverend Nelson Maynor and his beloved mother, Mrs. May Maynor, and the entire Maynor family, the Reverend Gregory and Miss Denise Williams and family, the Reverend Ivory and Sister Dorothy Corbin and family, the Reverend Joseph Atkins and family, Bishop Sammy Haynes and family, Vienna, Georgia, Bishop and Mrs. Arthur West and family, the Reverend and Mrs. Dr. Bobby G. West and family, Dr. Ruby Jackson and family, Deacon Johnny and Dr. Diane Hosley and family, Mother Lily Kate Granville Cotton and family, the family of the late Bishop Liam Wright of Smithville, Georgia, Mrs. Betty Robertson and family, Deacon Henry King and family, Miss Gladys Foster and family, Miss Willie Mae Leary and family of Hatley, Georgia, Deacon Earl Leary and family, Miss Patricia Leary and family, Mr. Eddie Leary and family, Mr. William Carter and the entire Carter family of Hatley, Georgia, Mother Pearl Reed and family, Mrs. Maggie Harmon and family, Mother Jessie Kate Harmon and family, Mrs. Eddie Mae Cooks and family, Mother Ethel Fullwood and family, Missionary Clemmy Jones and family, and the Reverend Leonard Boston and family, and our dear friend and brother, the Reverend Jimmy Charles Montfrey and the entire Montfrey family. Our first selection for this morning. Our next selection this morning is dedicated to the following: the Reverend and Mrs. Willie E. Lockett and family of Albany, Georgia, Mr. and Mrs. Jerry Lester and family, the King family, Deacon Michael Holden family, Miss Vivian Telfan family, Deacon and Mrs. Otis Ray and family, Mr. and Mrs. Lucius Bagley and family, the Venable family, Minister and Mrs. Douglas Parham and family, Mrs. Cynthia White and family, Mrs. Irma Tyson and family, Judge Gail Sims and family, Mr. Ernest Kears and family, Mrs. Betty Dotson and family, Miss Sarah Henderson and family, Mr. Terrell Wilson and family, Mr. Herman Neely and family of Ashburn, Georgia, Mrs. Sandra Jackson and family, Dr. Eutha D. Dydale and family, Miss Mary Kitchens and family, Miss Betty Wallace and family, Miss Serena Williams and family, Mrs. Ruby Jones and family, Mr. and Mrs. Roosevelt Williams and family, Mr. and Mrs. Anthony West and family, Deacon Greg Frederick and family, Miss Reddy Ruth Jones and family, the family of the late Deacon Isaiah Carter, Mr. Benny Hamilton and family, Deacon and Mrs. Dan Colson and family, Deacon and Mrs. Willie Colson and family, Miss Valerie Royal and family, the family of the late Reverend Grover Mathis, Miss Juanita Lewis and family, Mr. Michael Lane and family, Mr. and Mrs. Governor Arna and family, Deacon and Mrs. Garrett Parham and family, Deacon and Mrs. Frank Brown, Chairman of the Board of Deacons of the Odom Grove Baptist Church, Miss Johnny Bell and family, Minister Dicey Relaford and family, Miss Mary Hall and family, Mrs. Bessie Slay and family, Miss Regina Bryan and family, Miss Brenda Dent and family, Miss Clarenda Hicks and family. It is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcement. Miss Maddie Pearl Griffin, age 71, 178 East Rock Hill Drive, Americus, Georgia, died Monday, March 8th at the Phoebe Sumter Medical Center in Americus, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Maddie Pearl Griffin, age 71, will be held today, Sunday, March 14th at 12 noon, graveside at the Staley Memorial Gardens in Americus, Georgia. Evangelist Buford Snipes will officiate. Mother Bessie May Holton Wright, age 88, of 917 Cypress Drive, Americus, Georgia, died Thursday, March 11th at the Phoebe Sumter Medical Center in Americus, Georgia. The funeral service for Mother Bessie May Holton Wright, age 88, will be held Friday, March 19th at 12 noon, graveside at the Sue Walker Cemetery in Cobb, Georgia. Her beloved nephew, the Reverend Mathis Kears Wright, will officiate. The public walk-up visitation will be Thursday, March 18th from 1 to 5 p.m. at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. Mr. Willie James Billingsley, Sr., age 85, of 268 Carey Street, Unadilla, Georgia, died Thursday, March 11th at Houston Medical Center in Warner Robins, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Willie James Billingsley, Sr., age 85, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangements. Mrs. Deborah Ann Green Kendrick, age 59, of 407 North 9th Street, Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, March 13th at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mrs. Deborah Ann Green Kendrick, age 59, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangements. The J.W. Williams Funeral Directors, serving Cordele and Vienna, are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Our next and final selection for this morning is dedicated to the bereaved families whose loved ones were laid to rest during the past week. The family of Deacon Jimmy Lee Johnson Jr. of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Deacon Henderson Bryant Jr. of Vienna, Georgia. The family of Mr. Sammy Lee Emery of Rochelle, Georgia. This selection is dedicated to the bereaved families whose loved ones will be laid to rest during this week. The family of Miss Mattie Pearl Griffin of Americus, Georgia. The family of Mother Bessie Mae Holton Wright of Americus, Georgia. The family of Mr. Willie James Billingsley Sr. of Unadilla, Georgia. The family of Mrs. Deborah Ann Green Kendrick of Cordele, Georgia. This election is dedicated to all of the sick and shut in, to all patients in the local and surrounding hospitals, nursing homes, and rehabilitation centers, to our beloved ministers and their devoted family members, to all retired educators, to the men and women serving in our armed forces, both stateside and abroad, to all veterans, and to everyone who listens to our program on each Sunday morning. It's a pleasure for us to bring it to you. Our program goes out in memory of our past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams, goes out to my wife, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker, to my son, Jai Wilkerson Parker. This selection goes out to my mother-in-law, Miss Billy Ann Hall, and family, to my brother, retired Chief Master Sergeant Norman F. Dexter, to his wife, Dr. Gwendolyn Maxine Dexter, and our grandson, Noble. Hey, Noble, how you doing this morning? This selection goes out to my sister, Miss Mattie Mae Johnson, better known as Sister Girl, and Mrs. Patsy Jackson and her husband, Mr. Jim Jackson of Cordele, Georgia. This selection goes out to my nephew, Deacon Kenneth Smith, program chairman of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church. It goes out to our pastor, Dr. K.M. Williams, and to his wife, Sister Kathy Williams, and their family, the entire Williams family of Albany, Georgia, and Cordele, Georgia. Goes out to their son, the Reverend Christopher Williams, pastor of the Antioch Baptist Church of Cuthbert, Georgia, and say good morning to him and all of his members there. Again, Dr. Williams invites everyone to worship this morning. You're invited to worship with the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church this morning at 9 a.m. Conference call, Facebook Live, and yes, we will be on the grounds of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church this morning at 9 a.m. and you're invited to worship. Social distancing will be practiced. And the church mother, Mother Lucille Shazer, age 108, will be present this morning, be the Lord's will. And she just might sing a song this morning, so come and witness this 108-year-old soldier of the cross, still holding up the bloodstained banner of Jesus Christ. Mother Lucille Shazer, 108 years old, will be on the grounds this morning of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church. Our program goes out to each and everyone who listens to our program, and we do encourage each and everyone to continue to practice the guidelines set forth by the CDC. Please practice social distancing. Please wash your hands. And those of you, when time comes to qualify to take the vaccine, we do encourage each of you to take the vaccine, that we might get out of this pandemic situation that we are caught up in now. So please take the vaccine. It is safe. I've taken the vaccine, and I'm still here with you. I have not grown another arm, have not popped out another eye, so I'm still here. Yeah, still got the same 10 fingers there, so please take the vaccine. It is safe. They'll keep one another as safe as possible. Our program goes out to our beloved Miss Easter May Sanders, and family, and hope that she's feeling well this morning. And to my nephew again, Deacon Kenneth Smith, hope that he's feeling well this morning. Talked with him yesterday, and he's planning on being at the Greater March Tabernacle Baptist Church today. So hope that he's feeling well this morning. Our program goes out to Deacon Freddie Perry and family, and hope that he's feeling well this morning. The Reverend Leonard Boston and family, Miss Lily Mae Rockwell and family, Miss Jackie Bolam and family, the McAdoo family.
Yes, I'm going to walk. Oh, that will keep my way. Oh, child.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We hope you've enjoyed our program. Tune in again on next Sunday morning. Remember, in your time of need, contact the competent, capable, and dependable staff at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home.